Imagine a 500-page ecology textbook disguised as a space opera where everyone is obsessed with expensive glitter and no one has ever heard of a computer. It's essentially Game of Thrones if the dragons were giant underground vacuum cleaners, and the political subtext was about how much Frank Herbert hated the U.S. Department of Agriculture. This is Shelf to Screen, the podcast where we discuss sci-fi and fantasy literary adaptations to the big and or small screen. I'm Joe Perry.
I'm Jen Isgro.
And I'm Tom Kokoza.
And on today's episode, we're going to be tracing the journey of Dune from its shifting sand origins in Florence, Oregon. Didn't think we were going to be talking about that today, to its status of the unfilmable white whale of Hollywood. Wow. This was a book and a movie. And I just want to let everybody know, we're talking about the 2021 Dune adaptation. We're going to be talking about part one only. But before we get into the movie, we want to talk just a little bit about the book, the origins of the book. Tom, I know you've read this book before. What was your first introduction to Dune?
Oh, well, I think my first introduction to Dune was the 1984 Dune movie. I'm a big Lynch fan, although I wasn't when that came out. I think my dad was just a fan of the book, and so he watched that movie a lot as a kid. And then I read Dune for the first time, I think when I was a freshman in high school. And I probably read it, 3 or 4 times since then.
Yeah. I think I read this book sometime in my late teens. I can't remember when I first, but I think it was sometime in my late teens, maybe early 20s. But I think it was sometime in my late teens. I had never seen the Lynch adaptation. I had heard about it from other people. And I think I had seen the sci-fi adaptation of Dune. That might be my first Dune experience. Which
that was pretty good.
Which I feel like we might have to do all the different adaptations of Dune at some point. We'll have to go.
Whenever we're stuck for a topic, we'll just come back to Dune.
Come back to Dune. Plenty of adaptations of that one. And I had read the book. I read the book back then, and I think I read it again shortly before this movie came out. The Dune Part 1 movie came back out, just to kind of refresh myself, because I was very excited about this movie because it looks so cool and amazing, and there was so much hype around it. But I remember when I first read the book, I was a little, I don't know, I feel like I was a little underwhelmed when I read it. Because it was such, a lot of people talked about it as being such like a sci-fi masterpiece and a legendary, classic sci-fi book. And I don't know, I guess it wasn't what I was expecting. And I guess part of it is that there's so much ecology in this book. It's like ecology, politics, and religion. I mean, right? That's like the main kind of themes in the book and the story of Dune.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, there is like, it does have the trappings. It has the action. It has like, the fighting and stuff, but yeah, it's very much like a message story more than anything else. Yeah. And I think Frank Herbert really did a lot of interviews later on to kind of explain that message to people directly who may not have understood it reading the book.
That's always
and then
good.
I think followed it up with the sequel Dune Messiah, really to hammer home like the point he was trying to make, because it felt like a lot of people
I wasn't clear enough in the first book.
Right.
Jen, now you've never read Dune. What was your first introduction to any kind of Dune content?
I have seen the 1984 David Lynch version of Dune. Quite recently, in fact.
How? Just
So I was fresh. for this one.
Quickly, how does it compare to this 2021 version?
Do you want me to get started? I'll get started.
We're already started. I mean, we could talk
Okay.
about the book, I guess, first if you want to go into a little bit.
I'll just give you a taste.
Okay.
I prefer the 1984 version.
Wow.
And we'll leave it at that, and we'll come back to it.
Whoa.
Jen, starting strong.
Hot take.
I think I know why. But we'll get to that later. I'm going to take a guess as to why. I might not know it, but I have a theory. All right. Okay. So this book was published back in 1960. Oh God, where are my notes here? 61? I lost it in my notes. I'm already lost in my notes here. We'll cut that. Out there. Where was it? 65. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this book was published back in 1965. There's actually a pretty interesting story behind this book. Frank Herbert shopped this book around to 23 different publishers, getting rejected every time before it was actually picked up by Chilton Books, which was famous for publishing auto repair manuals. Talk about being desperate.
Whatever it takes.
Well, from what I understand is that his manuscript was very long and long for sci-fi back then in the 60s. It was like 3 times as long as like a typical sci-fi novel back then. So I think that's what turned people off. And like thinking about it now, this book is 500 pages a little over 500 pages, or at least the paperback. Yeah. That's not long these days.
No. I do wonder whether they cut it down in editing. Like, and he went even deeper into the ecology stuff in like the original draft.
God. Yeah, he might have. He very well might have. But if you read like sci-fi novels back in the 60s, I think were shorter books, like 200 pages. And,
a lot of them were 200, 250. It's in and out. Like, it wasn't necessarily considered like highbrow literature.
No, and this crosses fantasy, I think, because there's a lot of world building in this. It's very fantastical. We've got the Empire and there's magic kind of going on in here.
Yeah.
So I think this kind of crosses the line between sci-fi and fantasy. It's not your typical sci-fi where it's just kind of like one or two things are different in the world. It's like our world, but there's a couple of things that are different. This is like he builds a whole new world here. And apparently he was inspired. He was traveled to Florence, Oregon, the aforementioned Oregon, to write a magazine article called "They Stopped the Moving Sands," and he became fascinated by the U.S. Department of Agriculture's efforts to use European beach grass to stabilize the shifting dunes over in Oregon on the coast that were swallowing the roads and buildings. So this is where the story of Dune birthed. It's kind of a interesting start to a sci-fi novel.
I've that is, and I think that it's I've read a number of interviews with different authors talking about how like some of the most fantastical ideas come from like something so mundane, and then you just connect it to something else, and like they could change desert into grasslands with effort, and then like, gee, John F. Kennedy was a charismatic leader, wasn't he? Like, and put those things together, and all of a sudden, like, you get Dune.
Yeah, well, also apparently he also had conversations with indigenous Native American Wilbur Turnick, who was a descendant of Chief Cobaway. So so that's where he got some of his Fremen inspiration from. And I mean, the Fremen have been kind of copied in sci-fi and fantasy and just general.
I have no idea what you're talking about,
in
Joe.
many different, and in many different ways. Desert people, Star Wars, Wheel of Time. Yeah. So the book gets published by this auto repair manual company. And guess what? It's an immediate hit. It wins the Nebula Award in 65. It wins the Hugo Award in 66. But it still wasn't like a big seller until the 70s came around. Supposedly, what kind of pushed it was the environmental movement starting in the 70s. And that's what pushed sales of Dune. Eventually selling over 20 million copies to date. So,
Wow.
Yeah, it is a classic sci-fi novel. I think anyone interested in sci-fi has read Dune, or it's like kind of like the, sci-fi 101 book you would read if you wanted to read sci-fi. You must read Dune, otherwise you're not a true sci-fi fan. So,
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry about that. That's what I heard. It's not my decision. That's just what I heard.
It's the word of the street. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me ask you a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it gets made into the 1984 adaptation,
Yes, it does.
right? There's a lot of story behind that, which we're not going to go into that. That was seen as a failure, I would say, right?
Yes.
I think we would classify that as a failure.
Yeah, it lost money, right? It didn't. It did not succeed. I think it
Commercial
there's a-
failure.
commercial failure. I think there's an element of cult classicness to it, but as much as I may love it and Jen may prefer it, I guess most people did not feel like it didn't capture anybody who wasn't a fan of the book. Let's put it that way.
Yes, I think there was definitely mixed reviews about it critically, but I think there were people who really liked the movie a lot, and there were people who was like, "This is trash," or "It's just it's a bizarre movie. Go see it."
It's bizarre, and yeah.
I can't.
You don't have to go. You can watch it from the comfort of your own home.
Well, you know what I mean.
No. Go somewhere
Go
and watch
see
it.
Go somewhere and watch it. Yes, don't stay where you are, because people will be like, "What are you watching? What is this?
Don't put that out in your own home."
Why are they Why are they always carrying pugs?" So anyway, so there's that. That's 1984. After that, I mentioned the sci-fi adaptation on the Sci-Fi Channel. That was in the 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Was that a movie?
No, it was like a mini series. It was like
Okay.
It was like a 2 or 3 part mini series.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then it kind of just sat there, waiting. Legendary Entertainment bought the rights in 2016. I think Denis Villeneuve was attached pretty quickly after that, and started working on the script and pre-production, and it was originally greenlit as a 2-part adaptation, but it depended on, there was I guess some stipulation depending on how the first part did, right? So they didn't confirm that there was going to be a second part, I think, until after the first part was released, because they wanted to see how it did. It's contingent on the performance of the first movie.
I can't
Only
imagine
half
how
the
anyone-
story.
It is only half the story, and I'll say, I think part of the reason, Joe, that it sat around for so long was that they made a movie and they tried to make that 84 movie like a normal movie length, and no one could really understand what was happening, right? And then they made a mini series, and that gave it enough room to breathe, but it didn't necessarily have the visual scope
No,
that you wanted out of this. Although I think it was really well acted.
there was not really any famous people. I don't think you recognized it.
William Hurt played Duke Leto.
Yes, William Hurt was in it. He was the most famous person in the movie, and he played Duke Leto, who dies, shortly into the movie. So,
Shortly.
Yes.
Shortly into all versions.
Right. And then
Jen's like, there's nothing short about this movie.
No, there isn't. It's got me watching it. That was the only.
But you have to love. You
and Oscar Isaac. That's it.
you have to love a 2 hour and 45-minute movie where the very last line of the movie is, this is only the beginning.
Yeah. No.
Way to go, Zendaya.
It's true. Yeah, but I mean, so Denis Villeneuve is coming off of a run, right? He had done Prisoners, then Enemy, which wasn't that big of a deal, then Sicario, then Arrival. Like, so
Yeah.
he's just getting like
two big movies. Two very yeah. Arrival
critically
won.
acclaimed.
Did Arrival win some Oscars? Did what's her name win an Oscar?
I think that one. I mean, Sicario was nominated for a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
Prisoners got nominated. Yeah, he had been just and Arrival made money, which the other ones necessarily didn't make that much. Arrival was a big financial hit.
Yeah, Sicario was was a really good movie. I would, if you haven't seen that, I would go watch that movie. Even the sequel's even really good, but the first one is amazing. Yeah, I remember hearing about this, that this was happening. I got very excited when I heard that Denis Villeneuve was going to be directing it, because I knew right away it was going to be like this. They're like, we're spending money on this movie. It's going to be huge in scope. And I was reading up on some of the some of the castings and if there was any interesting stories behind it. But apparently Timothée Chalamet was his only choice for Paul Atreides. He met with him, and Timothy immediately said, "Yes, I'm in."
Yeah.
And then I think he also, again, wanted Rebecca Ferguson and Oscar Isaac to play Jessica and Duke Leto, and they were in as well. So there was nothing really, I don't think, spectacular about the casting, except that I think he knew what he wanted, and the people who he wanted were interested. So, I think, all right, so talk about the casting just for a minute. Or maybe a half hour. I have to say, I think the casting in this movie was perfect. Everybody was cast perfectly. I would say the only person, well, obviously Kynes in the book is a man. They gender swap Kynes, which is, I don't have a problem with that. I think my bigger problem is that Kynes doesn't die in the book, does he?
Kynes is no, but he's not around after.
No, he isn't. I think he just kind of disappears. Oh no,
he might get he has to die, or he has to get taken away.
Does he go back to? Does he go back to the Emperor's planet, the capital planet?
Maybe he does. He's out of the picture after the beginning. That's an interesting take, Joe, because for me at least, it's interesting because I found that there were a number of parts here that I did not think were particularly well.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to hear about that, Tom.
All right. So one of them is the actress who plays Kynes herself. I don't think she was particularly, I don't know, good. I think she starts out okay. I think as she gets to do more, like I was just like I don't buy her as anything.
They changed the character, not just the gender. They changed the character, right?
They changed character, yeah, a lot. Younger, much more proactive, much more
heroic.
I don't know,
actively heroic, I guess. And
like Kynes is a scientist. Like he's just he's an ecologist. He's not a he's not like a person of action. He's not he goes native, but like that's more religion than like learning to be a warrior of the desert kind of a vibe. I also and I was surprised about this. I really didn't like Rebecca Ferguson at all.
Oh my God.
I think
go to hell.
I really think she.
I love Rebecca Ferguson. She's amazing in this. She's an amazing.
I think she's. Again, like, I don't know what like direction she was given, but almost every scene she just looks like she's in like physical pain. It's like the only thing I can think of is like they gave her to like look like she doesn't seem I don't know, she doesn't seem like she's a woman of you know, I don't know, of strength or power to me. I didn't get that from her part at all.
Oh, I think
and I also don't feel like she acts like she's Paul's mom at all. Like I don't think there's any kind of like
so
motherly sense to her.
there's a couple of parts where I was like, they're like more of a couple.
Well, I think
one part where she like grabs his face. I know it's her son, but
what's the age difference between Rebecca Ferguson and Timothy Chalamet is a question I had, because I don't think they can't be more than 10 years apart, right?
No, I think they are.
Really? No, she's not that old.
I don't know.
I mean, he's supposed to be 16 in the book.
No, I mean the actors, not the characters. I mean the actors. Right. But she's supposed to be young though too. Like he's 15 and she's probably supposed to be like 35 or less, maybe even younger.
So she's 42 now, Rebecca Ferguson.
And how old is Timothy Chalamet now?
Like what is mid-20s or?
Yeah.
Oh, really? So he's almost.
I think so. I don't think he's that old.
He's 30. So he's 12.
Oh. Yeah, he's 12. Okay.
All right.
Yes, thank you. That's part of it, because
that's part of it.
You see in many TV shows and movies, actors who are this far apart in age are usually love interests. That's the problem.
That's right.
Usually it's reversed. Usually it's the man who's about 12 years older than the woman, but you're typically seeing actors this age gap are love interests for each other in the movies. And you're right, it is a little weird. I do agree with that. I don't know if that's necessarily her fault.
I don't think. I think that I've seen Rebecca Ferguson in plenty of films. I think that she's a talented actress. I put that on the direct. I feel like someone said, this is what I need from this part, and I don't understand that choice.
I have a note here, Tom, that she is such a great expressive actor and her facial expressions are amazing. When she kills the Harkonnens, right, when they're on the ornithopter, when they've been captured, and she, like, you just see her face kind of go into like a rage and a furious, violent, expression. And then the part when she, Paul unwraps his father's ring and she sees it, and then you could just see it like switch to like such a sadness and despair, like, kind of, coming to terms with the fact that not her husband, but her lover is dead. Also when she's fighting with when Paul's fighting with the Fremen, her expressions then,
I have to say, by the time they're in the tent in the ring, like, she had already lost me. Like, I think she honestly, like, I was checked out on her performance by the time he goes for the Jem'Hadar the test. I'm like, what is she doing? Why is she like having like a nervous breakdown outside? She knew this was coming.
Okay.
She's been trading him his whole life for this, and she's like about to like shit a brick. Like,
I know. I'm going to tell you why.
And she's like that, like the whole first half of the movie. The only time that I think she acts the way that I envision Jessica to act is when she's talking to Duke Leto and he's nervous, and she's like, "This isn't you." Like, that's what she is. Mm-hmm. That's what she should be. She's not advising anybody. She's just in the middle of like a hour and a half nervous breakdown for the first half of the movie.
I mean, I disagree. I think the part where you're talking about with the gum jabber test and she's outside, I think that was not, she didn't do that because she thought it was the thing to do. She was directed to do that. And I think the reason was they were trying to show, I guess, or amplify the pain that Paul is in. I think they're trying to get you to feel the pain that he's feeling through her.
I can see that, definitely. I can see that. I want to be clear. This is not a personal attack on Rebecca Ferguson or her acting skills.
Sounds like it.
No, it's definitely. In fact, I mean, this is me like saying like I don't understand why she was directed to craft the character this way.
All right, I disagree. Jen, do you have any thoughts about Lady Jessica and Rebecca Ferguson?
I mean, I don't know what she's like in the...
But just from a non-book reader's perspective.
I just think everyone is like just serving face for the whole movie. It's so dramatic, and it's just like every shot is like they're modeling.
Yes.
So that's kind of like, it's just, I don't know. Nothing feels real
Yeah.
to me. It's all very dramatic.
There's like 2 scenes. I know what you're talking about 100%. There's like 2 scenes where Duncan Idaho acts like a normal person,
Mhm.
and they're so jarring when he's like,
When he calls him my boy, when he's
He's probably my
when
favorite
Paul-
part of the
when Paul
movie.
asks,
Yeah.
when Paul asks if he can go to Arrakis with him early.
right, yeah, that one scene where he's like, feel like you put on muscle. Really? No. Oh, he's like an actual person. Okay.
Who
And then
played that part in the other movie?
Richard Jordan is the
Oh, I
actor's
don't remember
name.
him. Okay.
I don't think he was in much of the
Yes,
84
yeah.
version. Yeah.
All right, maybe that's why I
Duncan
don't
Idaho's in a
remember.
lot more of this than I
Okay.
would expect him to be.
Yes. Yes. He's in more of this than
Okay.
he is in the book, I think, too.
Yeah.
Well, you get Jason Momoa to do the character.
Yeah,
You're gonna
yeah.
kind of have to,
Yeah.
give him some more screen time.
I do say like
I
he's
think it's
supposed to be the greatest swordsman, and they at least make him the greatest swordsman.
Yeah, I think it was in his contract that he has to kill at least 50 guys. So he made them put that in there.
Who are the most like badasses in this? I'm gonna kill like 50 of those dudes.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
All right.
Otherwise, I'm out.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's just-
Right.
Or up to 49. We need one more. Let's throw that guy in there.
What if I wake up from being dead?
Yeah,
And I kill, like,
yes,
dudes.
that's what that was. I have a note about that. First of all, it's so that's like horror movie because
Yeah.
you just see them and all of a sudden he just like rises up behind them and he's all bloody,
Yeah.
like Jason or something or Michael Myers.
Like Jason
Yeah, Jason.
Momoa.
Oh yes. But then he ruins it by doing the movie trope when he has the jump or the element of surprise on them. He yells before he attacks, and I'm like,
I just kill them.
you could have killed all of them real quick. They wouldn't even have known it. But you yell first because you're in a movie, and that's what you do in a movie. You yell before you attack. Jen, I agree with you. They're serving face. Everything's a model shot. Everything's dramatic. And I love it. Give me more of it. It's
my
just
God.
so beautifully shot.
Yeah.
It's-
Okay, I'll give you that. But
Yes.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's like literally every shot they're like trying to make it the most beautiful shot ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's 2 hours and 40 minutes of that. Nothing's happening.
There's
And
This-
like
This
I
is my guess as to why you'd like the Dune 84 version better is because it's
Why,
too
'cause
long.
it's
and
too
it's
long.
not-
Well, nothing happens. The 84 version is not good. But I found joy in watching it. I have no joy watching this movie. I'm just
wow.
what? It's an hour and a half through, and
There's no
they're
plot
like-
yet.
the attack happened, and they're
Right.
like
Well, that's when the plot starts.
in the desert, and nothing happens for like the next hour and a half or
I
whatever.
know.
Like, what the hell is going on? Nothing is happening. I feel like I could like fall asleep for 10 minutes, which I didn't, but I could and wake up and like not miss anything. Like,
Probably.
nothing, I feel like nothing's happening.
You probably would have just missed some more cuts to a Zendaya. Who they
Yeah, right.
Another thing. So that might be one of the criticisms I have of this movie. There's a lot of cuts to Chani, Zendaya's character. I feel like again that was more like, well, if you got me for the movie, you need to put me in at least this much of it scenario.
She probably filmed that all in like the same day.
Yeah,
Like, just stay here for like 7 hours and we'll get like all these
It was
shots and
probably
that's it.
2 days worth of work.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Well, she'll be in a lot more part 2, so maybe
Right.
maybe you'll enjoy that one more.
I feel like I will because I feel like
is Jennifer
stuff's-
Zendaya a fan? I don't.
stuff's gonna happen
Oh, I don't know.
now. Like, there's gonna be more fights but
Mm,
I mean,
I will say this. I think generally the first half of Dune more shit happens,
no.
and the second half of Dune is more of like an internal journey for Paul.
yeah, the
First, this movie was an internal journey
No,
for Paul.
No. The turtle journey is going to begin. Jen,
No.
Jen, like
He
Zendaya says at the end of the movie,
Ugh.
this is only the beginning.
Right.
Well, I'll say this: the first half of the next, I didn't see. I never saw the second part. All right, I've seen the first part a couple of times. Never saw the second part. So when we watch it, I'm gonna go in there fresh. But just from remembering the book and whatnot, I'm gonna guess the first half or 2/3 of the next movie is gonna be Paul with the Fremen, like learning the Fremen ways and becoming like Muad'Dib and that whole thing, which is a lot of internal and kind of exposition type stuff. There's a whole part in the book where he's talking about, or like a flashback of things that happened while he's with the Fremen.
Yeah, there's like a time jump, and then they kind of just flesh out like things. I think.
So they'll probably start with the time jump, I guess. Right?
I guess so.
I don't know why we're predicting, but.
Let's not talk about the other movie.
So like I'll say this, like Jen and I have been a little bit more negative. I in general like really liked the movie. There were just certain parts of it that I felt like, I do think like the movie could have been 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah,
easy.
They could have cut 20 minutes out of this movie. Yeah,
and like the end really drags on for no reason. Like we were joking a little bit, but like I feel like that's true. Like Jason Momoa didn't need to be there. None of that served any purpose.
That's not in the book.
Right? Why couldn't they just go straight from the
like,
ornithopter to the Fremen?
That's what happens in the books, I think.
They could have crashed the first time and just got right there. It would have been fine. Missed nothing.
Did you see Joelle from Wheel of Time?
Was that Joelle, yes, with the Harkonnen? She was the one who was pouring.
Yes, she was like doing
I thought
something
she looked
with
familiar.
Yeah. Oh, very nice.
It's funny. She stuck out to me, and I didn't realize it was her.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, what you call it? What was I gonna say? There was something really cool that happened towards the end that they didn't call attention to, which I was a little surprised by, because it was the movie is really good at trying to get the audience to understand all the weird magic shit.
I thought they do a really good job of explaining what things are going on. Yeah, what's going on.
So there's a scene, like right before they meet the Fremen at the end. We're just talking about the end of the movie. Who cares? Where like Paul has a vision of like. Oh, he's like, there's a knife and I might die, but I'm not going to die. And then he sees himself being trained and like becoming like learning about the Fremen way from the guy he kills in the fight.
Yes, thank you. I was going to ask about that.
So like, this is him. He's seeing a vision of like, if he doesn't win that fight, if he loses that fight, he doesn't become Muad'Dib. He just becomes Paul of the Fremen. And like, he turns away.
He be dead?
No, he gets stabbed. He doesn't die. He loses that fight and loses kind of like his standing with the Fremen. He never becomes, the Mahdi, the Lisanagib, he doesn't. That his whole destiny doesn't happen, and he just lives a regular life. He knows that that's an option for him, and he chooses the other way. He kills the guy.
Wait. But in the fight, they say one of them has to die.
Right. It's to the death.
The
You can't mercy. You can't not kill the guy. Right. I think he saw a vision where he gets stabbed. He doesn't die. And like, he eventually becomes one of the Fremen and he becomes friends with this guy.
Yeah, because you see the guy's like, come with me, follow me, or something. Yeah. And I'm like, this guy's a jerk. Why are we having nice visions about him? I'm confused.
Well, that's all right, but
you didn't know he was a jerk at that time.
Right, I know, but then I was like, why was this guy telling him to come when he was going to be
this is a lot of, I feel like this is stuff that was introduced in the movie. Like, all those cuts to Chani Zendaya's character, and I think they even cut to Stilgar. Like, he's having all those visions. That's not really in the books.
No, he dreams of Chani a lot.
He does dream of her.
But that's it.
I
really.
dream of Chani.
But he also like. There's another part like right towards the end where he's like, he tells Kynes, he's like, I know you fell in love with a Fremen warrior and learned his ways. I'm like, how do you know what happened to her? You're having visions of her past? Like, I don't get, like...
Yeah, he's starting to see everybody's past and future.
Right. So, like, it's giving you that idea. But, like, this is, I think, the first time... This is the only thing, I think, that they don't call out directly. He doesn't say afterwards, I'm seeing alternate visions of the future. But like that's what's happening here. He's seeing different ways that his future can go, and he takes one path.
Yeah, I think he doesn't understand it yet, and that's why that's why as we're, and I think they're trying to convey to us like we're not understanding what's going on because he doesn't understand what's going on. He's just seeing these things and he's trying to make sense of them.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, the Jameis part was funny because when he's having, I remember Jameis from the books. I was like, isn't that the guy Paul kills? Like, and I'm like, did they change his character in the movie? I forgot. And I'm like, oh no, okay, he kills him.
No, he kills him. And I do love it. It's one of my favorite parts of the book. And I think they do it really well about like, one, Paul's trained to fight with shields, and they don't really call it out, but they do show it. Like shields don't let fast blows in. You have to like strike slowly.
Yeah, it's right in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
the slow blade penetrates the shield, as Josh Brolin says.
Those shields make no sense.
Yeah, but like in the book, like the Fremen think like Paul's fucking with the guy because he's like constantly like almost killing him and then slowing down. But that's how Paul's learned to fight: is that you fast blade and then slow strike, kind of a thing. But it's the same kind of a vibe where like Paul just is so outclasses this dude. Like it's not even.
Yeah, it's so funny because like Chani's like, yo, sorry, man, you're dead, but here, you can die with honor. And she's like, he's a really good fighter. And Paul's like, could have killed him about 5 different times in a matter of like less than a minute.
Yeah.
And I thought that I really like this scene, and I think an excellent demonstration of Rebecca Ferguson's acting where she's, has to explain like he's never killed, like you could see the kind of angst and
he's never killed a man.
Yeah, he's never killed a man kind of thing. And like watching her
for the listeners,
watching her son become a killer though. She's sitting there watching her son become a killer. And she knows right? She knows what Paul is going to be, or has an idea of what Paul is going to be. And she's kind of seeing her little boy turn into this, like, this is it. She's like, this is the point of no return. Like, once he kills this guy, that's it. I don't think we can stop what's been set in motion. And that's what I get from her in that scene. And that's what I think this scene's supposed to be, especially the fact that she's like, he's never killed a man. And then I think Paul even has some visions right before that of talking about like killing somebody. Oh, if you kill someone, you kill yourself or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that scene is given weight. I mean, that's the end of the movie. That's the dramatic end of the movie. Is it ends with Paul taking a life. But like, yeah, I think, like, I think the dramatic. I can't use the giving face, whatever
serving face.
Serving face. Yeah, I can't even pretend to try and say that phrase. Legitimately, but like that works for Paul Atreides, especially for the Timothée Chalamet Paul Atreides. I think he's very well cast, and I think like from the first shot of him where he's like got no shirt on and he's waking up and he's so skinny, and he's got abs, but he's so skinny. I'm like,
he's just got low body fat. That's why he has abs.
Right. I love
not because he has muscles.
I love Kyle MacLachlan, but Kyle MacLachlan does not look like a teenager in Dune. Like this kid, he looks like a kid still,
Yeah.
And you can see he's capable and he's talented and he's skilled, but you can also see that he's still like a young man trying to figure out like how to be an adult. And I think that is a really it's appropriate for someone of that age to look moody all the time.
I will say the one scene where they're literally serving face, and it's just I feel like they put it in for the trailer. The one where he has the vision of the Fremen fighting, and he's the one and then the mask goes up and you see his face. That one was like, this doesn't seem right here. It seems like you literally made this shot for a trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that one. There's another.
And you should have taken it out. Afterwards,
there's another vision.
Here's the trailer, and let's get it out of the movie.
Where like Chani is like like kind of like crouching in like the cleft of a thing, and then he
Yeah.
comes and he crouches next
Yeah.
to, and they're both
Oh, yeah.
staring at the camera.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, right. That was, and then it would be like the music.
Well-
I don't know if I knew this subconsciously from a long time ago, but as soon as it started, I was like, I'm gonna guess the composer. I'm gonna guess it's Hans Zimmer.
Yes.
And then
I
I looked
love
at it
it.
today. I was like, oh my God, it's Hans Zimmer. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't know if I knew it or I guessed it, but I'm
He
really
probably
proud of
recognized
myself.
it. I mean, he's done a lot of,
He's
pretty
like-
prolific.
A really
It's
good
amazing.
composer,
Yeah.
but like for generic like movies that aren't connected to like any one director, I feel like. I don't know. I can't even explain like what I mean, but
Yeah.
like
Like,
if
he
it's a
doesn't
big
have, like,
movie
a-
and it's not like what's his name? John Williams or Danny Elfman or there's
Yeah.
other guys out there too, but I was like, feels like a Hans Zimmer.
Howard Shore.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know, I got it right.
Yeah, and I love this. I love the score for this. I made a note of it like right at the beginning. That first intro, like the very beginning in the scene when the emissary from the Emperor comes to like they have to do their official handing over of Arrakis to the Atreides or offering it to them
Right.
or whatever. Like the music during that whole scene is just like, this ain't gonna end well, and you just get that from the music.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a good thing that's happening. There's a really cool scene. We talked about the Gom Jabber, right? And the scene, where Jessica's outside, like, having an emotional breakdown. And then when it's over, it's so funny when she calls Jessica in. It's like Jessica had her hand on the doorknob because she's like, "Come in, Jessica," and the door like opens.
She's
But
like,
there-
is he alive? Yeah,
but-
yeah.
But then her and the Reverend Mother have a conversation
Mhm.
that Paul overhears. And then Paul and Jessica have a conversation, but they don't move close together. They're literally like 30 feet apart having a conversation. And they're talking at like very, like, not whisper levels, but they're talking low. And I loved it.
That part I thought actually
I loved it.
I don't remember that part.
It's
It was right in the beginning.
Again, it's very, but like Denis Villeneuve, I think, does this a lot. Like that's the kind of filmmaker he is. And I have no problem with it. But like it's like she's obscured by fog and mist, and it's like to him, she's not a person. She's like a vision of a thing. Because this isn't him looking at her as his mother or the concubine of a duke. This is a Bene Gesserit who's manipulated me my whole life.
Yeah.
And she sees him not as Paul, but as possibly this Kwisatz Haderach, and like, what is that? And so like they're shrouded to each other for the first time. I think that was a very well done.
Yeah, it's
bit of
I
business.
just love the contrast of it being like such like an intimate conversation, but they're standing like 30 feet apart from each other having this conversation. I loved it.
There's one other thing, and I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was the kind of movie that it was. And again, I've seen a lot of Denis Villeneuve, and he does this a lot. I knew that I needed the subtitles on the entire time. The music was going to be insanely loud, and everyone was going to whisper. It's
Oh yes, I had
very
the
similar to
subtitles on
like
too.
some Christopher Nolan films. Like you just know, like there's literally like if I were to play the volume so I can understand the dialogue, my neighbors would hear the music. Like
Yeah.
that's the option that you have. So
I think it's just designed for surround sound. They were like, we're not
Yeah,
gonna
it is.
we're not gonna mix it for stereo at all.
Well, what
Yeah.
We're just gonna
wasn't
make
that
it for
in
surround sound. If you don't have surround sound, you're fucked. Or
wasn't
watch
that in the
with subtitles.
research that he was mad that they were going to release it?
Yeah.
Well, they released it simultaneously on HBO Max or something.
Yeah, so this was
he was
released.
mad because it was like set for movie theaters.
Yeah, there was a whole big fight about this, right? This was
Right.
it was released, 2021. It was delayed because of the pandemic. And then that's right. And this wasn't the first movie, but movies started releasing on streaming services and in the theater
Yeah.
at the same time because people weren't going to the movies. And he was very much against this. And they were like, no, we're doing this. We're going to do it. And there was kind of a big argument about that. But the movie did pretty well, I think. What do I have? It grossed over 400 million globally. So
not too
That's
bad,
good.
being that it's coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah.
It definitely. I mean,
And
they
that's
said
with the hybrid
make your
release.
sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it did pretty well. I mean, I didn't go to the theaters and see it. I kind of wish I did, because I'm sure this would be, I'm sure they'll release this sometime again in the theaters, but I would love to go see this in an IMAX.
I feel like when Dune 3 comes out, you'll get an option to like watch all of in the theaters.
Oh God.
There's a
Who would go there for 9 hours and watch 3 movies in a row?
I got my
What kind of people?
I got my what's it called? My gift from doing that.
Yeah, mine's
Fellowship.
upstairs. But
The actual piece of film.
Yeah, the actual piece of film.
I don't even know where mine is.
What you call it? There's a scene when they first get to Arrakis, and they're flying into the city, right? So they land.
Mm. Oh yeah.
Like all the troops are there. They have a little bit, and I love that because the troops are massive, the ships are massive, and they're just dwarfed by the planet. Like they look like there's like it's like you can tell like they're completely overmatched, like in just the visuals, the way they do the visuals. But then they fly from they fly and land and get into another thing. And
yes,
fly.
I thought that was very strange too. I was like,
but like they're flying over the city, and like this is to Jen's like earlier point, like it's just a lot of flying. But like they get to the main building, and it's just so fucking big, and I'm like, who would live in a building that large? It's like
the Harkonnens?
It's like living. It's like it's their main house, the main castle or whatever.
It's a ziggurat.
Like, yeah, it's like the
like.
size of like
the Great Pyramid.
Like four city blocks. Like I'm like, it's ridiculous. Like it's just the scope was like.
I imagine there's a lot of people. Well, besides the family, there's lots of, I'm sure, security.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like a fort. Like it's like there's there's a lot of soldiers and things.
Other people that live on Arrakis that are not Fremen.
Yes.
Because is that shown to us in the other movie? Because I don't remember that. I'm like, who are these other people that are like cheering for him when he gets there?
No, all of those people are Fremen.
Those
They're like
are Fremen
who work in the city.
They are Fremen?
Yeah,
the ones who are like Lisan Agib.
Yeah. Oh,
not all the Fremen are like.
Were like always hiding.
No.
Some of them are working in the city as servants or whatever. Like shout out Mapes. But
okay.
The like that's a small amount. Most of the people who work in the city are just imperial citizens that they're miners, not young people, but like they mine.
I'm sure there are some young people there too.
They're miners.
They're miners. I'm sure there's some of those too.
Yeah. We don't get any. So having read the book, one thing that we don't get yet, that we haven't gotten yet, is, and we're not introduced to her necessarily in the books, but she kind of not narrates, but there's like right before each chapter, there's kind of like a saying, or is it the end of the chapter? I can't remember. From the Princess Irulan, who's the Emperor's daughter. That's kind of, she's not even mentioned. Well, he mentions that he can marry her, right? When he, that's like the only mention. You don't see her yet, and I guess they're holding off, for the second. I'm trying to remember. Is that Florence
Don't see the Emperor either?
Yeah, probably.
It's Florence Pugh.
It's Florence Pugh plays it, right? Yeah, you don't see the Emperor. Yeah, you don't see the Emperor.
Yeah.
You don't even hear a whisper of another Harkonnen.
Yeah.
Oh, they say Harkonnen.
Wait,
yeah.
That's it. That's the other one. That's the other part I didn't like. I'm like, they're Harkonnens. Come on.
Harkonnens.
Yeah, I was waiting for him, and he's not in the movie.
He's not in
Sting.
the book.
He shows up in the middle of the book.
He shows up in the middle of the jump. Yeah, he shows up like in the middle, and it's they're somewhere else too. I don't even know. I'm very interested if they're going to do that whole scene where there's that like couple, that like noble couple, and he's I
don't know.
There's a weird scene in the books. I don't think they're going to put it in.
Is the Baron in the book closer to this Baron or to the David Lynch Baron?
Well, Stellan Skarsgård's got like a we kind of get introduced to him with like a Colonel Kurtz kind of scene where he rubs his bald head and in his eyes, and it made me think of Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
And you don't really see him for like he's always in shadow, and you don't get a good look at him for most of it.
He's barely in it.
He'll be in
I-
it
I
more
think-
in the second movie, probably.
I think he's closer to the Lynch version, from my memory.
The Lynch
Like,
version was so crazy and weird,
it was.
but this guy wasn't weird enough.
Well, there was no molesting of boys in
Yeah,
this
I
movie.
actually, I get not that like.
Well, I wasn't talking about that. But
Okay.
I there was no deviancy. There was none of that. He's just grotesquely fat. Like
He is.
And he's
He
like-
is. But he's deviant in the books, though.
he is. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The book is closer to the
Okay.
Lynch version, where
Yeah.
he's like,
I think they just
In the-
didn't want to go
Yeah.
that way. I
Yeah.
think.
and we'll see. Maybe that'll come out more in the second one too. Like, yeah, you don't see like he doesn't really have that much to do.
yeah.
I think. Yeah, we get the scenes of like the betrayal, really, and the.
So
The poison gas tooth.
yeah,
Yes.
My
that
favorite
was,
part.
I
yeah,
love how
I-
he's just at the top, like
Yeah,
floating
yeah.
at the top, like that's how
Why
he was
did-
able to get away. He also had the
why did-
shield, so that helped a bit too.
Why did Oscar Isaac have to be nude in that
Oh
scene?
yeah,
for some
that's
reason?
kind of I'm
like,
trying
of course.
the only thing I can think of is he might
took
have
his
been
clothes
nude in the
off?
books. I don't know.
But like, they took his clothes off. He was dressed when he got shot.
That's why I think there's a not that I
Oh,
want
you're
it,
saying he was
want it. There's a potential that the deviancy of Baron Harkonnen will come to play more. Like I thought like at one point he was gonna be like, oh, you want me to reunite with your wife? That's who I'm eating. Like I thought he was gonna go that route. So I watched this with my wife, who had seen I think both versions of the film, but she fell asleep during a portion of it and missed
Nothing.
Dr.
Oh.
Yue
Oh,
like his reveal and all the rest of that stuff. And she was asking about it. And here's another one where I'm like, what a waste. Like that guy
They-
was like a non-factor.
Yes.
yeah, they
Uh,
very much cut his part down and didn't really.
They didn't
He's-
explain
he's-
why it was a shock that he was the person who betrayed them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Very they kind of didn't go into that, like the mentat of Thufir Hawat's at least he didn't
No,
have,
his eyes turned
Yeah.
white and he came out with a number once.
He didn't
That was-
have. He didn't have the red sores on his mouth.
well, he had the little red, it was like
He
a,
had-
He
had
did.
like a-
Oh, that's
it's
what
like
they
a
did.
mirror
He-
Hitler mustache or something going
Oh.
Yeah,
on.
he had like a
Red
like
dot
a,
on his
Oh, I
body.
didn't even
like a
notice
Queen
it.
Amidala kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
vibe
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. And there was the Harkonnen guy also who had one too.
Yeah,
So you know, like
alright.
that
Yeah,
there.
David Dalmatia, great by the way, is Peter DeVries. Love him.
Who was that?
David Dalmatian.
I've-
I don't know.
I-
David.
I
what
don't
is
know if
he
I'm
from?
pronouncing his name that right. A million things.
I
He's been
no,
in a
I've
ton of movies.
definitely recognized him. I just couldn't figure out who he was.
Well, did you see Suicide Squad?
No.
The Suicide Squad is the Polka Dot Man. He's in a few Lynch things, David Lynch things. He does like an online interview show where he's in a coffin and the other guest is also in a coffin.
I'll have to look.
No, he's been in so many
Yeah,
things.
okay.
Oh,
but,
that's Malchian. Here he is. Yeah,
Yeah, that's not yeah.
That's Malchian. I don't know if I know him.
He's in Twin Peaks: The Return. He's in, I believe.
Oh yes.
He's in
Let's see.
the I'm blanking on the Mulholland
The
Drive.
Dark
too.
Knight.
Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, I believe he's in Mulholland
He's
Drive.
Yeah,
he's the
man.
guy. He's the crazy cop, right? The young crazy cop in Dark Knight.
Yeah, he's like the yeah, he's like a psycho. He's
He's not really a cop. I think he's dressed as a
Yeah.
cop, right?
Yeah, he's crazy. Yes, he's
Yeah.
a crazy person.
Yeah.
And then he's
I didn't realize that was him. Look at that.
I was very excited that he was in it, and then I was very disappointed that he doesn't like. They have a whole bunch of people that are in the credits, and then like they have like the first time it's like 2 or 3 names. It's him at the top of the 2 or 3 names. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, they
Oh,
made a
sorry.
decision to kind of cut back on the supporting character stories and just
Yeah.
really focus on Paul.
Yes. Like I that
Even
was
in
the
the
other note
beginning.
that's the
Yeah.
other note I had is that that I was a little bit disappointed, I would say, is that it's 2 hours and 45 minutes to take the first half of the book. And I feel like with the exception of Paul and I would say Duke Leto, no character is particularly well drawn. Like, I feel like I think I know that Gurney is religious, but that's all I know about him. And I know that Duncan Idaho is really good with swords and is the only person who laughs. And then like every other character, I feel is like again, like you don't even know what a mentat is, and you don't know, like, if you're watching this movie, you think that Thufir Howard's the chief of security, because that's mostly what he does.
Yeah. There's not really much interaction with him and Paul.
Yep.
Because Paul's also learning how to be
Paul's
a
also
mentat,
a mentat,
right? Or a mentat
right?
school or teachings or whatever. There's a lot of different teachings, a lot of different ways in this story. Yeah, they did, and that's one of the things I remember being a little disappointed with Kynes, is that there's a whole scene in the beginning of the book. It's like a dinner or something, a dinner scene, where that might be where they first meet Kynes, and he's first introduced, and they go into a lot more of his background. Well, not a lot more, but he gets a little more time, and you kind of get to know a little bit more about him. And they cut that out.
I have a question. There's a part where somebody says that they're going to meet somebody, and the person is kind of eccentric. And I thought they were talking about Kynes, but she was not eccentric at all. So I'm trying to remember.
That's who it was.
No, that's who it was.
She's not eccentric, though.
No. I think what that was supposed to imply is that this is like an agent of the Empire that has kind of gone local.
Okay.
Like, and like that's weird.
Yeah,
I was sitting there waiting for somebody to be eccentric, and that would have been too much for this movie.
But like
that was eccentric for this movie, Jen.
Yeah.
But like that's what I mean by, like, I didn't think that actress did a particularly good performance. Like, this is like the part, and they do it where she, like, instead of internal monologue like the old movie does, like they just do a lot of people talking in different languages here.
Yeah.
Like sign language or other languages.
Did you know that they speak in Mandarin in this movie? Because when Paul talks to Dr. Yue on my closed captioning, it said speaking Mandarin, and I was like, oh, they didn't even like come up with another language. They're just like, we'll just use Mandarin.
Well, this is supposed to be, right? It's just the year 10351.
Yeah, I guess we could still, Mandarin is still okay.
Yeah. But
fair
like,
enough.
yeah, so like Paul and Dr. Yui speak Mandarin, and Paul and his mom speak sign language, and they everyone knows different languages. But like, she's supposed, like, there's the scene where she's like, sees that Paul knows how to do the still suit.
Yeah,
and it's supposed to be like this religious, like, you're supposed to understand now. Oh, she's a religious zealot, and now she's like totally bought in, like, and she just says it, and then like she doesn't change. Nothing about her attitude or behavior.
Yes.
Like, there's no, like,
yes, I think she's.
I don't know.
I think
and then, like,
the part's being played wrong. Like, I don't want to say. I don't want to criticize, but I think that's not the character. That's not the character in the books, and I feel like you're trying to be like the other characters.
Right.
Like, I have to be very dramatic and like.
Yeah.
But
and I don't understand why, like, this person's like, I can't help you, but I'm gonna help you, but not only when it's not really helpful anymore. Like, I don't, like, why did that person need to have a conflict? Like, I don't, like, it's like a fourth level down
I think
character.
that was a setup for her death, because they say you betrayed the emperor. So I think that was an exposition where, like, I can't do this. I promise, the emperor gave me orders. If I don't follow those orders, I'm going to die. And that was the setup for the death, which I wasn't a big fan of. Like, that whole part, again, like you said, when they crashed the ornithopter, they could have probably just met the Fremen after that and cut all of that other parts out.
Get in a different ornithopter and crash that one, right?
Yeah.
Like,
they were in a dust storm for like 10 minutes.
They could have
like, literally
put some of that stuff.
Yeah, 10 film minutes.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yes, 10 minutes of the movie. They were in a dust storm. And then they went back to the Baron and said, we chase them into a dust storm. They'll never make it out alive. And then we come back and they're still in the dust storm, just doing nothing.
Yeah, which is weird. I was thinking, like, he literally probably just got a live update. Like, he called the pilot of the guy who was chasing them.
No, he went all the way back to it. to the other planet to tell the Baron. Or was the Baron still on Arrakis?
No, they're on Giddy Prime still.
No,
the Baron's on Arrakis because he was with.
Yeah, they're
he was
back
floating
on Arrakis.
on the ceiling.
Was that?
Yeah, they're there.
That was with the Duke.
Oh, that's
He's
right. That
getting-
was in Arrakis.
yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, so that makes sense.
yeah,
They
'cause-
must have called over to them. It's just
Robin.
literally at the time, and then they got the message right away. I loved Batista as Robin.
Yeah, he's
good, but there's
I love how
no.
he's just doing very
Just like
very much Batista the wrestler scene.
yeah,
where
he's really nothing. Like he's just a guy that's there.
When
a
they,
big guy. I don't know. There's no
after-
character.
after Arrakis. Well, he'll.
I shouted twice at Batista's scenes, the big man. I was like, there's one part where there's like a bunch of surrendering.
Oh yeah,
trans
Just
people,
chopping
and it's
their
just
heads
one by
off.
one, and like no one else is moving. They're just waiting for them to chop their head off. I'm like, all right, I guess that's
the
cool.
Beast. They didn't call him the Beast at all, which I was a little upset about. But yeah, the scene when Arrakis is handed over to the Atreides, and then it cuts back to him and the Baron, and he's very angry that Arrakis was given over. He's just yelling. He's like talking, and then he just goes right into yelling.
No, I think that was the other time I shouted it. You're right.
Yeah, that was great. And then the Baron's just like, no, he's like, no, idiot. He's like, this is part of the plan. Like,
I have a new favorite closed caption. Missiles whistle. It was in this movie like 3 times.
Missiles whistle.
Missiles whistle.
That's like one of
I
those
like
tongue
that.
twisters.
Yeah.
It is.
Missiles whistle. Missiles whistle. Missiles whistle.
Missiles whistle. What else I'm trying to go through my notes and see what else I have.
I brought my nose. I haven't looked at the. Okay.
Oh.
So I'll
Go ahead.
okay, you
No, you go first.
Okay, so I have one other. I had 2 things about vehicles that I want to bring up.
Okay.
I think the ornithopters are awesome.
Yeah.
They look so sick.
Yeah, they look
I love the
cool.
way that
They look like
I love the way they
dragonflies,
fly. They
kind
look
of.
like dragonflies.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
The spaceships, however, not like the spaceships to take you from space to ground, but like the giant ships that they fly in. They look like something, and I don't know why they look like that.
What do they look like? I don't remember them being particularly.
They're like a big
distinct.
cylinder.
Oh, they look like a penis.
They look like what I think they're called fleshlights. Like they're like a thing that you
Artificial vaginas.
yeah, like they look like they're like a big like rounded kind of.
I don't
filled
remember
in
the ships.
cylinder.
I feel like I would have. It would have stuck in my head if they looked
They're
like.
like 3 shots of them.
Okay.
Like 2 from
I
outside,
don't
and then
remember.
one like when Gurney comes out, and it's like after like they cut the shields, and he looks up, and it's so close, that it's just taking
Oh.
up like a portion of the sky, and I'm like, why does it look like a giant space guy is gonna
Space
stick his cock in it?
Space vagina. Well, I would
It's
ask this
very
question.
odd-
They have
Very
spaceships.
odd structure.
They have spaceships and nuclear weapons, but they still fight with swords.
Yeah. That-
Well, Paul had a gun at one point.
He does pull out a gun.
it was that's a Fremen gun apparently, because like
They were
Stilgar's
like,
like, you've
Give
got to
that
earn
back
that.
to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, Paul, you can just fuck this guy's shit up. Why are you giving the gun back?
Because he
All right.
he says right after why he does that.
When Stilgar spits on the table or something.
Oh
and
yeah.
and what's Duncan's like, no, thank you for being so respectful of us, giving us your water. Like,
Let me be very clear about what's happening.
that was funny.
If you want to talk about something in here looking like a body part, the worms' faces look like a cat's asshole. That's what you want to talk about.
I don't
What?
know what a cat's asshole looks
Joe's
like.
seen
I
it many
guess.
times.
I've seen it many times.
That's not. I'm pretty sure that wasn't what they were going.
Well, somebody should have said something.
Oh my god!
I don't remember if this happens in the first movie, but or in the book. But does the worm like
Do the worm?
no? Does it like understand that he's special and that's why it just sits there and stares at him for like 30 seconds and doesn't eat him?
No, I think the thumper is supposed to. It's because of the thumper.
Yeah, but it was like a long time where they're
I
like
think that was
looking
just-
at each other.
That was the.
That was
face
just
serving.
drama?
That was serving.
That was so,
face
so the worm was actually also
The
serving
worm
face.
was
was also
The worm
serving
was
face. If this movie was directed by Sergio Leone, it would have probably been another 35, 40 minutes.
There's really close ups
all,
on the teeth.
all of those,
Wait.
yes. Every shot there would have been another shot of a close up of that for like another 5 seconds. So imagine that
That-
added on to every shot.
Absolutely, to me, looked like it saw him, recognized who he was, and was like giving like deference to him. And then when the thumper went off, it was like, oh, I should go see what's going on over here now. It
I
was
think-
so long that they were like
I-
locked in a gaze.
I think it was kind of like,
I think the thumper was
it was-
happening, and we just didn't hear it.
and it was, they got to the rocks and they stopped moving, and the thing was like, I don't know exactly where you are. So it was like waiting for them
It
to
can't
move.
see, it's blind.
Oh
It
no, I
doesn't
can't
have
see.
eyes. It's
Doesn't
just,
have
Oh,
it's just
so
a
it
mouth.
wasn't, they weren't locked in,
No,
they were,
they were
their
not
eyes
locked
weren't
in a
locked
gaze
together.
Yeah.
in a loving
Ah.
moment. No,
I don't
that's
know.
what. Yeah, I'm thinking we're starting to go into the tremors kind of theory, right? But the rocks
Yeah.
do conduct the sound very well. But I guess once
Well, they weren't moving.
they weren't moving, but also like they can't see. So coming up out of the ground and going like this doesn't mean that the thing can see where he is because its mouth is pointed at them. So, and I think
Okay,
the
but-
thumper was happening. We just didn't hear it.
But then
Yeah.
he would go, he left when the thumper went off.
But it was a couple of seconds before.
Yeah.
It was like I assumed that it knew who he was.
No, I don't
That's how
think so.
long it was. It was
I think-
attacking, it stopped, they looked at each other, dramatic music played, and then it was like, oh, I should go this way.
so,
And the
like,
guy was like, oh, the thumper saved you. But really it was because Shia Lud knew that he was the Lisan al-Gaib, or whatever the name that the
So-
worms call him.
So here's the, I think, so here's, they have their own code word for it too.
There's
So,
like
like-
6 names for him.
So like these are the things I want to like. So him being the Kwisatz Haderach, possibly or being the one or whatever, that's real. That's like a genetic, like conditioning program that the Bene Gesserit have been doing for generations. That's an actual, like he has actual powers.
Right.
Lisan al-Gaib is fake. That's just a story that the Bene Gesserit told these people in case there was ever a Bene Gesserit with a kid in trouble. Like they acceded that. Like so all of that stuff, like that's not real.
Oh, that's not like I'm
that's
assuming
stuff-
it's like the dragon and then like the Kara Karn. It's just like another name
No,
for
no,
what
no,
he-
no.
No.
Well, they even have.
Okay.
They, have
they,
this-
they actually explicitly
Yes.
say in here, like but the Reverend Mother says, we've been there, we've given them the cover story. Hopefully that'll help you. Like,
Okay.
in case things go bad.
Yes.
So like all of this is like all of that, like them believing in a Messiah that's going to
Okay.
come from outside the world, and he'll have a mother that has magical powers. That's all Bene Gesserit, like
Okay.
just seeding that out into every backwater in the galaxy in case someone gets in trouble, right?
Okay.
Um,
But none of them have sons.
no,
Right?
they can have sons or daughters.
Oh.
Like she's supposed
She's
to have
not
a
supposed
daughter.
to. Right.
Because that like they're not they think it's the next generation
So
that's
she
gonna
should have
do
been the
it.
grandmother of the Kwisatz Saturn.
Yeah, that was the plan.
Okay. But she went off book.
Yep.
Because
Right,
the
because
Duke wanted a son, I guess.
the daughter was supposed to then marry Fade Rotha,
Fade, yeah, who's not
Oh,
in this
okay.
movie, but yes.
but that was
And that was going
Bene
to bring the
Gesserit plan.
families back together.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the Bene Gesserit can control what they have because of their powers.
Yes.
That's interesting. Okay.
I'm interested
Alright.
to see the Paul's sister be born and that whole how that goes.
Yeah, yeah, she's pregnant right now, right?
Yes.
She says
Yes.
she's pregnant in this movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Paul says it. And she's like, how you can't know that.
Yeah,
She's like,
I barely know that. Something like that.
Yeah, I mean that was other good scenes too.
Yeah, there's a ton of good stuff. I do think for what could be a relatively thankless part. I think Oscar Isaac is really good in this movie. He's really good in almost every-
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
yes.
good.
It's like,
Fine.
whatever.
Fine.
He's okay.
I like him, so he's good. I mean, nobody's bad. It's just like
Yes, nobody's
it's just
bad.
the drama and the length and everything
Length.
together. It's just in the length. It's too.
Long.
It's too much. It's too much. I was wishing for it to be over. That's not good for a movie.
No, that isn't good. I agree. They could have easily cut about 15, 20 minutes. I mean, you literally can cut
Yes.
from when they
That's
crash in the desert and then to when after they escape, when Kynes and Duncan Idaho die and they escape. You could cut all of that out and just go from them crashing to
They should
them
have crashed, and
wandering
then the
through
worm
the
should
desert.
come.
Yeah.
Right when they crashed,
Exactly.
the worm should have come, and that was it.
That's a half an hour.
Yes, they would have had to put the still suits, I think, in the thopter, which is not a problem. Like, just put the still suits in there. Like, I know.
Yeah, where did they get those?
When
in
they
that
went to
other
the
place.
yeah, with the place that Kynes took them to.
Okay.
She gave them the still suits. But they could have just had them on the ornithopter, because I think that's what happens in the books.
Yeah.
That whole part is added in there. Like I said, but Jason Momoa had it in his contract, he had to kill at least 50 people. So they had to add this whole scene in there just for him.
Right.
But yes, they could have cut all that out, and I agree, it probably would have been a slightly better version. That's a good, how long is that? Like 15 minutes, probably?
I'm not kidding. It's the last half. There's a half an hour between the first crash and the second crash.
All right. So that's a half hour of the movie. I mean, there's probably some cuts to other things, though, like the Baron and things like that.
Yeah.
So you keep that.
And like, and you probably want to you would have to put somewhere that Duncan dies, because he just runs off he gets an ornithopter and runs away.
Yeah. Well,
and,
doesn't
no,
Gurney doesn't die, right?
Gurney doesn't.
No, but is he going to show back up later? Like,
yeah, he'll probably show back up later, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see him die in this movie. He just runs off fighting people. You don't see what happens to him or Thufir Howard. Like, they're
I don't like the character of Gurney in this.
You don't like? I love Josh Brolin's
miserable.
character.
I don't know.
He's
a
realist.
Like he was grumpy and
he's not happy about this whole. He knows what's gonna like. Not that he knows, but he's like really like. I feel like is like, why are we doing this? Like, we're all going to our death. We're all gonna die very soon. That's what he's thinking of, and that's why he's kind of like so melancholy and glum.
So, did they have UA on? Like, was this all planned before they even went there?
Yes,
everything was planned. Like,
they don't. It's just too great of a chance to.
Like, I think
the rewards are too great.
Well, yeah, I think it's also like, well, the Emperor. You can't say no to the Emperor without being in like open rebellion.
Okay.
And I guess they're not ready for that.
Oh,
that probably would have gone better for them.
Like, I thought of the phrase that I wanted to use to describe the movie, because I was trying to think of it all week, and I thought of it earlier today. It's getting too high on its own fumes.
It's high on its own stash.
Yeah, that's what I thought about. I'm like, what do you say when someone's like thinks it's better? That's what it is. It's just, this is the best movie, the greatest, everything, every shot. Like you said, every shot, it's beautiful. It is beautifully shot, but every shot, every line, every
I wonder how many.
cue.
I don't know much about his directing style, but I wonder if there's a lot of takes. If he makes them do a lot of takes.
Oh, God.
If he's
and then he just
do
an overly dramatic one, just in case.
Yeah,
and then
that's
David
Fincher
all of them.
or Clint Eastwood, somewhere in between. So I think I've got all my notes, or at least gone through everything I have. I don't know if there's any other parts that you want to talk about before we wrap it up here.
The only other thing that I'm sorry, I had one. So before I put the movie on, I watched the trailer with my my older son, who is he's watched the original Dune with me. When the trailer was done, He turns to me, he goes, "That looks like trash."
Oh, I
was like,
remember
"What?"
that. Yes.
So like, I was like, okay. I did think the movie opens in a very odd way. Like, the movie starts before like the Warner Brothers logo comes up and the Legendary logo
Yes.
comes up,
Mhm.
and there's like a thing where like, and you don't even know what it is if you don't have the subtitles on, but it's a Sardaukar like soldier or somebody is like speaking something. The dreams are messages from the deep
Yeah.
thing. I was like, that's cool.
Did you like the Mongolian throat chanting? When they
Yeah,
went to
the
the
odd.
with the with the Sardaukar?
Yeah, very very odd choice
Yeah,
there.
for sure. That's interesting that they put that in there. Well, I don't know if they're going to go into that part, but that's like one of those reveals in the book that, right? Like where the Sardaukar come from. You don't know you don't know, like there's a mystery behind that. And you learn later on that they're from the prison planet. I guess they're like,
Right.
yeah. But they just kind of do that right in this, but I don't really know if if it matters at all in the movie.
No, I think the movie's already kind of like they've already like put a pin on the book has it as a much later reveal that like we like the Fremen are our own Sardaukar. We don't need like we're forging warriors in this threefold land of like, and like that's a late reveal is like Paul's like our troops are equal to the Emperor's shock troops, but like
Yeah.
they're saying it at the beginning. They're like, we're going here because the Fremen are like the key, and so
Yeah. This scene, I have the scene that I was talking about that they cut out of the movie. It's the Arakeen dinner party where it's a lot of politics. You know, they go into a little bit more of the politics kind of setting up. Where I feel like they do explain. Instead, I think they explain that stuff in other scenes. They spread it out over a bunch of other scenes for the most part instead of putting it all in like one.
Yeah.
I mentioned this before, I think in the past, like this book is the way it's written kind of reminds me of a play because there's just like a bunch of big scenes. Like not a lot. There's like, 10 scenes in the whole book. I'm just making up a number. It's like 10 scenes in the whole book and just a lot of stuff happens in each one, or they talk about, right, what happened off screen.
Yeah, like, oh, I haven't seen you in so long. Let me tell you what happened last month.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's one of those scenes, the Arakeen dinner party. And they just kind of spread that out. I think most of the information from that, except for some of the kind stuff, I guess, which we get later on in that additional scene. All right. So I think we've hit everything that at least I wanted to talk about, or, did you guys want to go through and just kind of give your rating, your 5-star scale rating for this movie?
Sure.
Yeah.
You want me to go first?
Go
Go
first.
ahead, Jen.
Since we know from experience that potentially the lowest vote should go first. I am going to give this movie a 2.5.
Wow.
It was
We know.
fine.
Yeah. I don't think you have to explain yourself. You've explained
Okay.
enough.
Fine. I won't.
No, I'm just saying, like, you don't have to
Fine.
justify that rating.
You spent the last however many minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think frankly, based on what you've said, I thought it was going to be lower than that. So that's good. I'm going to give it I think a 3.25. I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought there were some parts I obviously that I didn't love, but overall, I thought it was a good movie. That should have been shorter.
What we should really be asking is, I'll give it either 4 or 4.5, but probably a 4. Although just because it's really so pleasing to look at, like there was just the filming was amazing. The cinematography is amazing, and it just the movie looks
very
awesome.
good.
It just looks really good. So I'm talking myself up to a 4.5 at this point. But yes, I agree it was too long. They could have cut those parts out. What the question we really should be asking is, do you think this was a successful adaptation of the book?
Yeah.
That's the question we need to ask.
I do think that it was a successful adaptation of the book. I think that this movie, even though it's only half the book so far, really seeds the elements that Frank Herbert felt were important for the book. I think you get those things very clearly from this film.
I feel like maybe the ecology part isn't in as much as Frank Herbert would probably have liked to.
I think that's, even though we're saying cut it, I think that's why they put that bit in at the end. Was not only to give
because
Momoa
they didn't have
something
enough
to do,
yeah,
because they wanted to give look at the greenery, look what could happen.
Well,
they have
that's
that one bit with the palm trees and
yes,
it's 5 men's water.
Yeah, I mean there again, the Arakeen dinner party scene goes into that. There's a lot of that because Kynes is in a lot of that.
Right.
So yeah, cut that, and now you've also cut the ecological background of it. So yeah, Jen, you never read the book, so I can't ask you that question.
No,
I think it
can't.
was a successful adaptation. So far, we'll see what part 2
Next week, right?
Yeah, next episode, part 2. All right, I want to remind everyone to follow us on social media. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky. Join us over in our Discord server to continue the conversation there. We like to talk about all kinds of things there, so come check it out. We're also posting our episodes on YouTube, so be sure to go to our YouTube page to like and subscribe. Make sure you rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts, and check out our Patreon page to support us that way. Actually, what am I saying? Links to all the aforementioned information are included in the show notes to this episode.
They are?
Yeah, well,
yes.
We got to put the links.
Right, they are.
We got to put the links to the Discord and the Patreon and all of that good stuff in our YouTube. Well, I'm putting them back in.
What am I saying? You better believe it.
I don't know what came over me. Any final thoughts about Dune? Well, about Dune Part 1.
It's only the beginning.
It's only the beginning. Thanks everyone for listening, and you'll hear us next time.